Well, folks, we finally, Elmer Johnson and myself, down in Yonkers, we finally mobilized Wesley to send me back my tapes. Just let me point out to you, whose tapes are they? Now, why didn't they just package them up and send them to me? But I had to ask Elmer Johnson to ask them to send them to me. Crazy upside-down company Cablevision. So there were all kinds of excuses for not sending. Well, we don't know if this is enough postage. Well, I happen to know it is enough postage. I happen to know that 40 tapes goes for about $8.70 media mail. Guess what? The excuse was for the last month. I can't find a box. That's pretty interesting, isn't it? Well, Mary Ramage and Taffy, Alice Bailey, went down to Peekskill, and they got 2 boxes of Glendora's TV shows, videotapes. Good for you, folks. So it'll take about $10 to send back 1 box and $10 for the second box, and then give them $10 for gasoline. Government, where are you? Protecting us from $2.50 a gallon of gasoline. Where are you, gangsters in the government? It's getting pretty obvious what you're up to. Now, we have no intention of ennui, boring you with the happiness lessons. We don't want it to be ho-hum. What we want is for you to be happy. And that's why we keep talking about it. I wish everybody in the world was as happy as I am. I wish everybody in the world was as happy as you are.com. That is the happiest cat. She had 3 acres, but she's good. She never goes farther than 30 feet from her house. Okay, I did that. These are things I have to do for you. Azure blue sky. We had beautiful weather. Tuesday was the hottest and the most humid humans that I've ever experienced, I think. Well, you forget it. And I had to take 2 showers just to cool down. But then a big storm came. And I think I showed it to you. And ever since then, everything's been nice and cool. And we've had an azure blue sky. Thank you for that, God. What are we? We are the voice in the wilderness. We're the All-American TV show. Public access is the All-American institution. No happy books without telephone numbers so that they can be verified. And big news happened in a federal court, and it's so big I can't figure out how to present it to you. It's the United States District Court, Southern District of Iowa, in other words, Des Moines. And the case is Glendora versus James L. Dolan, Cablevision. And a whole lot of judges. I sued a whole lot of judges. Federal judges, state judges, and I sued a whole bunch of lawyers. And I sued a whole bunch of clerks, court clerks, who violate Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 74, 75, 76. They don't file papers, and that's their job. What was the big news in that case? Well, this judge named Longstaff, you've heard of Shortstaff, Longstaff wrote back and said that none of the events that I delineated happened in the Southern District of Iowa. Therefore, he didn't have jurisdiction. Cheap cop-out. And he saw no reason why this case should proceed further. So I wrote a Rule 60B motion, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, for relief from order. Rule 60B, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, relief from order. And I took every phrase of his and excoriated it. And then down at the end I said, don't you know that a civil rights case can be brought in any court, federal court? Aren't you a federal court? A week later, he wrote back an order. And for some reason, he let off with plaintiff paid $150 filing fee. And then augmented it with $100 when the fee went up. That's not exactly right. That's not how it went. However, he said, now before the court is a Rule 60B motion, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure for relief from order. Motion is denied. However, in the interest of justice, the court orders the clerk to return plaintiff's $250 filing fee. I made an error. Let me go back. He didn't say in the interest of justice. He said in the interest of fairness. Now that's a huge Herculean victory. You plug along and you knock yourself out standing up for right. And nothing happens for years and years and years. And then boom, out of the azure blue sky comes this triumph. That is a huge victory. Did you ever know a court to say that they were wrong, say it was wrong? In effect, what is he saying? In effect, folks, he's saying that they committed consumer fraud. The courts are falsely advertised as giving justice. They failed to give justice because of this judge's self-interest. They failed to give justice. Therefore, I get my money back. This can have very serious ramifications. And I don't want anything to happen to Longstaff, anything bad. But this could be nourished and developed, and it could blow this whole court crookedness apart. People could go and ask for their money back from 10 years ago because they didn't get justice. So that's why I don't know how to present it to you. Sue judges when they break the law. So Omnibus 27 is captioned Glendora versus Ronald Lee Longstaff. Here's a street address at Des Moines, Iowa. I had to take it out. He was a lead defendant. I started the caption before I got his return plaintiff's $250, so I took him out. Now the lead defendant is Toman, Phillipstown, County of Putnam, State of New York, judge. Sue judges when they break the law. We are the voice in the wilderness, and .com had a terrible malaise. Did you ever hear of a cat getting a cold in the summertime? .com How did you do that? On July 15th, she was sick, and you could tell she was sick, because when they're sick, they lie couching. They don't relax this way, and they don't curl up. They just lie couching and look straight ahead. But thank heavens that the little kitty didn't go away somewhere and seclude herself, and bad thing happened. She stayed home, and my goodness, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know whether it was in the alimentary canal. I didn't know whether it was in the urinary tract. And then one day she began to cough, cough. And she had severe congestion. You could hear it. And then her eye got encrusted, the left eye, and I washed it out with warm water. And yellow mucus came out of her nose, so I kept her face nice and clean with a warm washcloth. And then she started sneezing. So this is good. That's her body getting rid of that virus. Her body protecting her and gathering up those viruses in gooey stuff and ejecting them through her nose and through her eyes. And some comes through her mouth. Then I never heard of a cat having a cold in July when it's 97 degrees and 97 humidity. When I taught church school in the inner city of Buffalo on weekdays and after school, it was an impoverished neighborhood, and the children would come in. Well, a lot of funny things happened, but one funny thing I wanted to tell you about was a little boy, Michael, 7 years old, and he says, what am I going to, after we had cookies, he says, what am I going to do with my crumbs? And I said, well, Michael, you could take your crumbs out and feed them to the ants. So we went out behind the church, even though it was enclosed a lot in asphalt. We found an alley behind the church, and there were some ants. And so he gave the crumbs to the ants. And I said, see, Michael, you made the ants very happy. And he looked up at me and he says, I wish I could see the smiles on their faces. Judy Polkow and David Higgs go into nursing homes with a program called Musical Memories. And they have received elegant and eloquent letters of recommendation. I have attended Judy Musical Moments program at the Barnwell Nursing Home in Valatia, and I found it to surpass all expectations, seeing that the residents actively anticipated and participated in the program. As other residents passed by the room, their interest was piqued, and they entered into the room to participate. Some of the residents were somewhat obstreperous, and Ms. Polkow had a firm but kind way of making sure they didn't dominate. At the same time, she was able to draw more shy residents out into participation in the program, Musical Memories. They have a huge collection of songs that they sing, and they play the instruments. And they do this all volunteer. And they need sponsors. Robert Callaghy calls Glendora the professional pro se. Well, Robert Callaghy and Sadly Stevens, Burke and Burke, they are the liar for hire for Cablevision. One of many. Let me tell you, all the Sadleys and Burkes and Stevens and Callaghy, Glendora is not a professional pro se. Okay, professionals get paid. Glendora doesn't get paid. Zabby wants you to do media activism. You can go to a cable company and you can borrow the equipment. In fact, they have to give it to you. And you take the camera and the tripod and whatever is needed, and you go to your local municipality and you cover their meetings from gavel to gavel. And then you ask one of the political people to hand the program into the cable company and have it cablecast on the government channel, the government educational channel. And she wants all of you people to do that. And the politicians are in the open light, and it makes a difference when they know somebody's watching. Yeah, Zabby wants you to do media activism. And little .com is doing bird activism. She just saw one on the blueberry bushes. Kelly and Jim Bernas wrote to the Public Service Commission in answer to the Public Service Commission letter to Jim and Kelly, and they said that Cablevision wasn't violating first come, first served with the lottery. Now that's stupid. You know what first come, first served means? It means that when Glendora came to Cablevision in Nassau County in 1993, she was given a time slot. And she was first come and first served. The law doesn't say dumb Public Service Commission. It doesn't say first come, first served every 6 months. It says first come, first served, period. You, Flynn, you those commissioners on the Public Service Commission, you Chad Hume, Tom Isabella, John Figliosi, and Dawson, understand that the law says first come, first served, period. And Glendora's time slot is there for her life, or until she relinquishes it voluntarily. So, the Public Service Commission did not address the main issue that Jim and Kelly Bernas wrote about. They did not address the lottery. Cablevision is operating a game of chance, and the Public Service Commission is turning its back. Do your job once, just once. Do your job, Public Service Commission. I'm glad you're retiring, Stephen Shea. I think we've covered all of the bulletins. The young lady asked the young man, "What do you do for a living?" And the young man, to impress her, says, "I am on the cutting edge of technology." And his buddy explained to her, "Yep, that means he mows the lawn at IBM." Another young man took his first date to a Chinese restaurant, and he's ordering writing out the menu, and he says, "How do you like your rice, boiled or fried?" And she said, "Thrown." And the bridegroom-to-be said to his bride-to-be, "Honey, I'm not much to look at." She says, "That's okay, dear. You'll be in the office most of the day." You know what BA stands for? Bachelor of Arts. You know what BS stands for? You know what MBA stands for? Master of Business Administration. MBA stands for more bad advice. And you know what PhD stands for? Piled higher and deeper. One young man came home from medical school and handed his mother and father his diploma. And he says, "There, I did what you wanted me to do. Now I'm going to go out and do what I told you I want to do. Since I was 7 years old, I want to be a fireman. The college athletic department had a sign on the door that said, if you're too tall to go through this door, report to the basketball coach. If you're too wide to go through this door, report to the football coach. If you took a bite out of this door, report to the hockey coach. The patient says, Doc, you still haven't pulled the right tooth yet. And he said, I know, but I'm getting closer. And you knew about the dentist who married the manicurist? They fight tooth and nail. And why is the second day of your diet the easiest? That's the day you go off of it. Do you know any jokes.com? Let's see. Henry says, my daughter's looking for the perfect guy to marry, and I keep telling her, give up the search, honey. Your mother got the last one. And new girlfriend said to new boyfriend, has anybody ever told you how wonderful you are? And he says, no. She says, well, where'd you get the big idea? .com, say goodbye to the people. I think all of the bulletins are done for this 2-week period. You know, Glendora is on 47 TV stations. Look at the people.com. Look at them. Mary Ramage loves to see you on TV. You're getting a little better. 47 TV stations, the newest ones are New Haven. And thank you, Joseph Schofield. That is a blessing. He's so cooperative and so helpful. He's good about public access. And Hudson, New York, which is a pretty big signal. Covers a lot of territory. And it's owned by James Reynolds. And I knew James Reynolds, and I knew his father, and I knew his brother, Jeffrey. In 1970, 3 or 4. Keep the courage flaming. Remember, you are our most important asset. You are the public, the all-powerful public. And .com just dropped the remote on the floor. I think you heard it. So, I'll say a prayer for you, that you touch the oneness of God inside of you, and that you lead others to be one with God, that you be all squeaky clean inside, that you realize the great talents that God gave you, a set of talents that is like nobody else's, and that you'll sit down and have your alone time with God, and you'll realize that God created you to do a special job. And you'll find out what that is, and you'll do it. The Happy Book helps you do those things. And you will have the wealth and the riches and the fame and the applause and the appreciation and the joy and the peace and the fulfillment that you're seeking. And you will have the peace and the greatness. Respected, praised, applauded, admired, cheered. Is that it? Yeah, I guess that's enough. Happy, whole, and healthy, and all of your present blessings continue. So we're done, except for finding the remote. I'm hoping it still works. And God has blessed you. a free Glendora Happy Book. And folks, you won't get one unless you say your name very distinctly and very slowly, and unless you enunciate each syllable. You have to do it as an elocution major does it. And your street address. So make it very, very clear. This is the All-American Show, a chat with Glendora. It's All-American because it's exclusively American. And it's All-American because it represents the whole United States. What is going on in the United States as far as free speech goes. The All-American Show, a chat with Glendora. And public access, folks, is the All-American institution. And this is why we fight so vigilantly for it. This is why we are so alert and so wide awake and so nimble and so quick and so lively. We wish to thank White Plains. Thank you, White Plains. Public access, the city of White Plains. We thank you all for cablecasting a chat with Glendora for 8 years. Goodbye, Fred Strauss. We had very pleasant moments of conversation together. They are memorable. And goodbye, Nancy Green, his wife. But take heart. So you're leaving Westchester County, state of New York, and you're gone to New Mexico. You can see a chat with Glendora in Los Alamos, and you can see a chat with Glendora in Santa Fe.
I've got a great job. Money in the bank. Last month, someone asked if I read the Bible. The Bible? I'm successful, I'm happy. What do I need the Bible for? I can get more from the Wall Street Journal. But that made me curious. So I decided to take a second look.
I'm on my feet all day. When I go home, I just want to turn on the TV and relax. But read the Bible? All those these and thous and begats? Who wants to struggle with that after waiting on customers all day? But then a friend showed me this version written in modern English, and I was surprised.
This guy I play hoops with said I should start reading it, the Bible. Man, I said, I don't need no Bible. I mean, it just ain't cool. So he goes, I read it all the time, and he beat me by 20 points. So he gives me his Bible, I read it. It ain't hoops, but it ain't bad.
What's your excuse? Before you make an excuse to avoid reading the Bible, stop. Take a second look. Pick up the Bible for 5 minutes, and you may pick it up for a lifetime.
Mission went along with it. All of this is junk.
Sure.
Look at this.
It's bulk and no weight.
Right.
Bulk
Look
and
at-
no weight.
Now there they're showing the different charges for cable television. Is that nonsense
Yes,
or what?
it's nonsense. It's irrelevant.
And look at this.
Irrelevant.
And they just bought right into. No, they didn't buy into it. They went along with them. But this is Thomas Garger, and
That's what Kelly wants to show
yeah,
me.
he must be.
And so,
It's third-party hearsay. That's what he's testifying to, is third-party hearsay. And I wrote a letter to the commission. I told him that he's testifying to third-party hearsay. The man can't verify anything because he's getting that information from someone else.
absolutely.
So
It's hearsay.
Yeah. So he's standing there, and he could be lying about it by someone else telling him a lie,
Sure.
and not even realize
Sure.
that he's testifying to it.
And also on this, it tells us, he's saying here that how many people did signed up for channel time, and it's right here. There were 3,124 applicants received with postmark date of February 15th, 2,736 in the Woodbury system, and 388 in the Hauppauge Brookhaven system. Therefore, there were 3,124 assigned numbers, 2,736 for Woodbury and 388 for Hauppauge Brookhaven system. Now, what they call their numbering system is they call it a super cool random numbering generator, and it was a software program purchased from Emitrix Solus. The software program provides a non-sequential numbering system that is randomly assigned. The number that was initially assigned to each individual envelope that was postmarked on February 15, 2005. For example, if a particular envelope postmarked February 15th was assigned number 1, the random access numbering system might reassign it as number 243. An envelope postmarked February 15th and assigned number 2 might be reassigned number 93, and so on.
Isn't it awful?
And this was notarized on April 25th, 2005. It was notarized, sworn to him. Now, Thomas Garger is the he's the senior director of local programming of Cablevision, but he has here CSC Holdings Incorporated.
No. We
So
don't.
this affidavit's void. We don't know.
We don't.
Because it says CSC,
Yeah.
but also says Cablevision.
Yes.
He made this response in notice request and response notice issued by the State of New York Public Service
Can I see
Commission.
that in a minute? Now, here's the thing. He claims that, okay, what do we have here? What is his claim? Okay. He claims that there were 3,124 applications received. Now, approximately a month and a half ago, today's date is what?
The 29th.
No, July 30th.
Oh, 30th. Excuse me.
July 30th, 2005. Okay? Annie McKenna, I had spoken to her the other day, and she had told me this also about a month ago, that her and Terry Maroney requested to see these applications. So they went to Diane Bennett, Cablevision, and Diane referred them to someone else at another office. They went in, they sat down, and this other person, I don't know what her name is, she brought in a list of 300 applicants. So Annie McKenna had said to her, there's only 300 names here. Where is the other part of the list? The young lady said, this is all I have. So they had left that office. They went back to Diane. They said, we have a list here. 300 names. Diane said, that's all I have. Annie McKenna said, where are the other applications? She says, this is what I have. One person sent in 1,900 applications.
So they're missing how many applications? 300 from 3,000?
What are we talking?
3,124.
24.
Yeah, so they're missing.
A lot. A lot.
2,400?
Yeah, but at any rate, then Diane Bennett had said to Annie McKenna that one person sent in 1,900 applications. So Annie McKenna said, well, who is this person? She says, I don't remember what the person's name is. Now, somebody sends in 1,900 applications that you've opened and you don't know who the person is, you don't know the name, you never wrote it down, you don't have these applications.
That's,
What's wrong with this this picture?
yeah, that's incredible.
It's mind-boggling. Who's kidding who here?
Oh, yeah.
So yesterday we had sent out a fax and a hard copy to Diane requesting that they open their files. We want to see these applications. Now, when we sent a letter to her, we're saying that Thomas Garver claims that there was 3,124 applications. That's how many we want to see. We don't want to see 300. We want to see the full amount. And if they don't have it, then we will have to report it to the Public Service Commission for whatever good that's going to do. Because the Public Service Commission, as all of us know, are on the side of Cablevision.
Sold out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're missing 2736?
Sold out, right?
2,736.
Right, Kelly?
Okay.
See, because it shows
Yeah.
3124.
No, that's from that's Woodbury. The other 388 are from Hopog.
Okay.
What you want to show me?
Also, here is the amended complaint that you wanted to see.
The amended complaint.
Yes.
Yes, I do want to see that. Is there 2 copies of that?
I think you just have the one.
I think I just have the one.
Wait, take a look and see if you
That's what I'm
have.
gonna do. This is new. This is memorandum law in support of plaintiff's pro se Kelly E. Barnes reply in opposition to defendant's motion for summary judgment.
Oh, yes, that went out last week.
That went out July 8th.
Oh, 3 weeks ago.
Okay. This is from them. This is their motion for summary judgment. Their
them-
opposition to the cross motion for summary
is-
judgment.
Rivkin and Radkin, and a lawyer named Savino, who has no state license.
Really? It has no state license?
There is lawyers do not have any license. Everybody else has to have a
They have
license, but
something similar to
similar
a
to
union
it.
card. A beautician needs a license. A barber needs a license, but a person that takes your life in
They
their
pass
hands.
the bar and they don't need
Yeah,
a license?
no,
Yeah,
they don't need
all
a
they-
license.
Yeah, all they get is a union card from the bar.
Oh, my.
The American Bar Association is nothing but a trade union, and they've got a union card.
Well, that's like, I think it was John Kennedy Jr. He took the test how many times? 8 times
But-
or something?
But you know, Glendora, we're of Irish descent. We've gone back and forth to Ireland. We passed the bars there and never got a license.
That's
and,
true.
and we're practicing law without a bar card. But when we're over in Ireland, they never asked us for a card to go into the bar.
Yeah, but you have a constitutional right. You have a constitutional right to be pro se. Kelly's got something else to show us.
This is a plaintiff's demand trial by jury. This is the original complaint.
Oh, the original complaint,
Right.
filed on February the 16th. And you see, it's Kelly Burness sues Cablevision Systems Corporation.
Right.
There's no mention here, and they're pulling a fast one trying to say they sued CSC
That's
Holdings
right.
Okay.
Incorporated.
Well, you know,
Spat.
since you bring that up, Kelly had shown me approximately 3 weeks ago in the Newsday newspaper. They had the CEOs that make the most money, and Charles Dolan was among those. He was in the list, and the company that he was listed as being with was Cablevision Systems Corp.
There you are.
Nothing to do with CSC Holdings or
No,
anything
no,
else.
they're pulling a fast one.
Yeah.
It's later down the road. They're going to try to get out of things by saying that. You got something else there, Kelly?
That's from the judge.
This is his order.
Yes.
Decision and order. And it's so inadequate. This is the one that doesn't even deal with first come, first served, does it?
No.
It doesn't even deal with the lottery, does it?
No.
It just picks up at the sides, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly, do you have that one?
Let me see
this
Arthur
is,
Spat's signature.
the denial
I sued
of
Arthur
his
Spat,
stay.
folks.
Probably
And
do
I
have to
sued
stop
his law
finding
clerk,
which one
too.
it is.
Amato, Jeffrey Amato. How can anybody sign a paper so inadequate and so dis-American? This is Kelly Burness to Brilling Public Service Commission. And what did this letter say, Kelly?
The letter say to Burling.
I don't know. It's by Cablevision. To the PSC, I feel it
Public Service
necessary
Commission.
to comment on the response since Cablevision has chosen to mention me and my federal suit in their response to the Public Service Commission and excerpts from my federal suit, Kelly Burness versus Cablevision Systems Corp. In the introduction, I too, the response Mr. Savino uses the word process or new process over 17 times, but avoids using the word lottery, which they used in their original documents and by word of mouth.
Yes.
Secondly, Mr. Savino concludes and gives third-party hearsay, which would be inadmissible in any just and proper honorable court. The improper facts of this document have not been authenticated or adjudicated, and Mr. Savino was not there when this illegal lottery game of chance took place.
Good point.
Affidavit of Thomas Garger. In Mr. Garger's affidavit, he avoids using the word lottery, perhaps because he knows that legally Cablevision is not licensed to promote and carry on a lottery game of chance. Mr. Garger said there were 2,736 applications in Woodbury. Someone is lying. Cablevision supervisor Diane Bennett told Annie McKenna Ferraldo that one person or one show sent in 1,900 applications and that they were discarded. Diane Bennett informed my father and co-producer James P. Burness that we were number 2,646. Garger's 2,736, Bennett's 1,900 equal 836 minutes. Other producers that sent in multiple applications. How could I have been 2,646? It is illegal and is a lie. The simple math has proven it. This is how Mr. Garger has inflated his 20% more application scenario. Mr. Garger makes a futile attempt to explain the process of illegal lottery game of chance, how it was administered, and how it took place. The fact is, Mr. Garger was not with his employees every minute when this illegal lottery game of chance was being administered, if he was with them at all. Therefore, he does not have first-hand knowledge whether or not his employees followed his instructions to the letter to carry out his illegal lottery game of chance. Mr. Garger affidavit is third-party hearsay from his employee's mouth to his ears and would be inadmissible in a just and proper court. Exhibit A. Cablevision explains to the producers how they should mail in their game of chance applications by using the U.S. Postal Service as their messenger. In Exhibit B, proof of residency explains only a driver's license, cable bill, electric bill, or non-profit tax-exempt document 501. This document violates my ADA claim. Some of us do not have a driver's license, and the law clearly reads that they must make provisions or accommodations for people with disabilities. In Exhibit C, documents that Cablevision was in the process of conducting an illegal lottery game of chance. Attachment 2 has nothing to do with me, but it does appear that Cablevision put in a lot of sensible papers to confuse the Public Service Commission. Attachment 3, after page of stuff that has no bearing on this case. Attachment 4, memorandum of decision and order, Kelly Burness versus Cablevision. Judge in this case gave leave to this plaintiff pro se to correct her deficiencies in her case, which made her amended complaint stronger than her original complaint, which gave her the opportunity to add the RICO violation to her claim. Okay, that's basically it.
That's good. What's the date of that?
The date of this is May 10th,
May 10th.
2005.
Yeah.
I also got from the state of New York, the Department of Public Service. I got that saying saying the Public Service Commission has no jurisdiction. They outlined the woman April Hartoff outlined it for us.
Glendora, I brought this to the attention of the judge at the hearing, and they had an attorney on the phone from the Public Service Commission. And I brought this to the attention of the judge, and the attorney said, no, somebody at the Public Service Commission made a mistake. Okay, and I said, but I have a letter from the Public Service Commission, and the judge blurted out, well, he's the attorney, he should know.
Oh, no. Oh.
So then, sometime after that...
He did, really?
Okay, April 13th.
He did, really?
Yes, April 13th,
Oh, is that ever
05,
prejudice?
we get another letter from the Public Service Commission. And it reads here, your recent correspondence does not involve a matter under the jurisdiction of this agency. The Public Service Commission regularly regulates public utility service with New York State. This commission does not have jurisdiction over cellular or paging communications or rates, internet service providers, international or out-of-state billing or services, directory advertisement, telephone equipment, or federal, state, city, or county imposed surcharges, tax, blah, blah, blah. Then it reads, I have forwarded your correspondence to. And then it reads, the agency above has been asked to respond directly to you concerning your complaint. And it reads here, Division of the Lottery. One Broadway, whatever, up in Schenectady.
Oh, really?
Now, this is signed a Linda Viss, I think it is, V-I-S-S, Consumer Services Division. Now, these are two letters from the Public Service Commission saying they don't have the authority over this lottery. But the Public Service Commission, in approving the first come, first served, has indeed approved the means, which was the lottery.
They approved the means,
Absolutely.
which was illegal.
Yes. Which then makes it null and void.
And so the end does not justify the means.
Absolutely. Yep.
Good for you. Good for you. So Kelly, what else you got for me?
I'm looking.
We have a new cameraman over here, Kathy.
You're doing good there.
What was your maiden name, Kathy?
Clayton,
Clayton, C-L-A-Y-T-O-N?
yes.
Your folks are from Ireland?
My grandparents and my other grandparents are from Italy, Tullo, T-U-L-L-O.
And what county in Ireland were they from?
Well, they all say Cork, County Cork. I mean, I guess that was where they all left out of.
That's been the problem. Everybody that you meet or that have ancestry from Ireland, you say, oh, my family's from Cork. Where indeed they're not, but they don't realize is a lot of these people come in and say, oh, where are you from? Oh, I came out of Cork. Meaning that's where they took the ship
left
out.
from.
But they weren't really from that area. They had to get to that area to take the ship to the new
Is there a
the new
county
country.
attorney? County attorney?
Not that I-
T-I-E-R, anyway?
This, I think, is for the stay.
You like being a cameraman?
Oh, sure, it's nice. This is so nice. And I see it's a zoning.
Zoning?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jim's camera's a zoning.
Is that it?
No, there's something else, but this you may be interested in. It reads, this is dated, filed electronically June 2nd, 2005. Dear Judge Spad, as your honor knows, this law firm represents CSC Holdings, Inc., Cablevision in connection with the referenced matter. Plaintiff served an amended complaint dated May 6, 2005, and a summons with respect to this amended complaint was received by our office on May 18, 2005. Cablevision's time to answer or otherwise respond to the amended complaint will expire on June 3rd. Cablevision respectfully requests that the court grant Cablevision a 2-week extension of this time to answer or otherwise move with respect to the amended complaint. We have been unsuccessful in our attempts to contact plaintiff pro se and secure her consent to the requested extension. Cablevision thanks for this court for attention. Now, the ironic part is that Mrs. Savino, I believe it was Mrs. Savino or one of the others,
Argumentum.
Yeah, had called Kelly on a Friday and asked her about the 2-week extension. Kelly refused. The attorney that had called said, well, it's general courtesy amongst counsel to give an extension. Kelly told him, I'm not counsel. Well, you're representing yourself as counsel. So she had refused. This was at approximately 7:15 in the evening. So this person had said, okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to the judge or send a letter to the judge to get a 2-week extension. I said, well, fine, do it. I said it was on Friday. It wasn't. It was on a Thursday. So then Kelly got in the next day approximately 12 o'clock, got on the phone, called the clerk at the court, and explained the situation to him. And Kelly said, I'm not approving this. The clerk said, okay, get me a letter right away. She said, we will be there with the letter.
This was on June 3rd.
She got the letter typed out, and we got near, got it to the clerk. They took it right up to the clerk, and we left the court, I think, approximately 20 after 4. We got back to the house approximately 10 to 5. By the time we got back, there was a message on the answering machine that the court had approved the 2-week extension. Yeah. Now, going back prior to that, when Kelly had to do her amended complaint, she was told in no uncertain terms in writing that if she went past her deadline, that it would be dismissed.
Absolutely.
But yet,
Sure.
he got the 2-week extension. Okay? Now, originally, before the extension, he'd asked for a stay.
Yes.
And it was dismissed.
Yes.
So he didn't get the stay, but he got the 2-week extension. So now the court, after they got the 2-week extension, has been dragging their feet on this, and indirectly or backdoor, whatever you want to call it, they have actually given Cablevision a stay by not acting on the decision.
Yes, indeed.
I get a letter that I wrote to the judge, Judge Spat. It says, Dear Judge Spat, I am Kelly E. Burness, plaintiff pro se CV 050897 in the case Kelly E. Burness versus Cablevision Systems Corp. Yesterday, June 2nd, I received a message on my answer machine from William Savino, counsel for Cablevision Systems Corp, asking me to call him as soon as I got his message. Time was approximately 7:15. When I found the message on my machine, I immediately called Mr. Savino. Mr. Savino asked me if I would have any objection to an extension to the reply to my amended complaint, dated May 6, 2005. Mr. Savino said that their answer to my amended complaint had to be in by Friday, today, or Monday. This morning, Friday, June 3, 2005, I received a FedEx from Rivkin Radler, William Savino, containing a request to this honorable court for a 2-week extension. I heavily object to this request. It is untimely, and their answer should have been at this court on June 2nd, 2005, not June 3rd, 2005, or June 6th, 2005. Mr. Savino claims we have been unsuccessful in our attempts to contact plaintiff pro se and secure her consent to the requested extension. This is totally untrue. This is a false statement and is in violation of Section 1011 of Title 18 of the U.S. Code. Makes it a criminal offense to make a willful false statement or misrepresentation to any department or agency as to any matter within its jurisdiction. I did speak to Mr. Savino. I told him no. I would not agree to this extension. 3 floors of lawyers, paralegals, and support staff at the EAB Plaza building, and they cannot meet this honorable court's deadline? I think it is disrespectful to this honorable court. I am a mentally challenged pro se. What it takes these people to do in one day, it takes me 4 days from morning into the evening. Plus, I do not have a word processor, so my father, James P. Burness, has to drive me 6 miles one way to the public library to work on my court papers. Rivkin Radler has not shown me the courtesy due to a pro se. This honorable court, based its own rules, should not show partiality by granting an extension to Cablevision. In Honorable Judge Spatz's Memorandum of Decision Order dated April 4, 2005, Your Honor said, quote, ordered that if the amended complaint is not submitted within the time prescribed above, the complaint shall be dismissed with prejudice and the clerk of the court shall close the case.
Yeah, sure.
This plaintiff pro se could not have gotten an extension. There is no reason why this court should show partiality by granting Cablevision an extension. They had plenty of time. Counsel is just stalling for time to receive what they hope may be a favorable decision in the Maroney case CV 050898 from the Public Service Commission, which then they intend to use against plaintiff pro se, which, by the way, should have nothing to do with my case. My case is a federal question. I highly object to any extension in this matter. Thank you for your anticipated attention and cooperation in this matter. Kelly E. Burness.
Very good. Very good. What do you think of that, Kathy?
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay. You want this one?
My copy?
Yeah,
Yes.
put it to the side so I don't get it mixed up with the others.
And this is when we first got, right? This is what we first.
Okay, that's good. What?
That's what we first got in the beginning, right?
I can't believe that some of these parents spent money to send these people to school. And this is the rubbish that they come up with. This is answer of Defendant Cablevision Systems Corporation and its affiliates, partnerships, subsidiaries, CEOs, employees, franchise, and entity. Defendant Cablevision Systems Corporation and its affiliates, and so on and so forth, by its undersigned attorneys, answers the allegations of the complaint of plaintiff in accordance with the numbered and unnumbered paragraphs therein upon information and belief as follows. This is their answers. Cablevision lacks knowledge or information sufficient to form a belief as to the truth or falsity of the allegations contained in paragraph 1 of the complaint.
Recorded announcement.
Isn't that amazing?
Isn't that amazing?
And it says Cablevision denies each and every allegation contained, and it goes on. And number 3 is Cablevision denies each and every allegation contained in paragraph 3 of the complaint and respectfully refers all questions of law to the court for adjudication. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they give it to the court for adjudication?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. This is a stock answer.
Yeah.
I heard one judge say this kind of an answer is the most useless paper that crosses the bench.
1, 3, okay. 17. Can you imagine? They used this saying up to 18. Cablevision denies each and every allegation contained in this unnumbered paragraph. 18 of the complaint. 8, and the judge buys into this. The court buys into this nonsense.
Oh yeah, the judge was bought long ago.
If Kelly would have sent this in, the court would have said, you didn't defend yourself.
That's right.
This is no defense.
Yeah, no, there's no defense.
This is a defense to me that says we don't have to defend ourselves. That's what this says to me.
We don't have to defend ourselves, we're going to win anyway?
That's what this tells me, yes. And you know what? It certainly meant that with the Public Service Commission.
Say again?
It certainly meant that with the Public Service Commission. They knew before they sent in the papers that they were going to get a favorable decision with the Public Service Commission.
Oh yeah.
All of the public access producers No.
Well, the Public Service Commission has to do it for them because they've already been paid and they got to deliver the goods.
By 20 points. So he gives me his Bible, I read it. It ain't hoops, but it ain't bad.
What's your excuse? Before you make an excuse to avoid
I've got a great job. Money in the bank. Last month, someone asked if I read the Bible. The Bible? I'm successful. I'm happy. What do I need the Bible for? I can get more from the Wall Street Journal. But that made me curious. So I decided to take a second look.
I'm on my feet all day. When I go home, I just want to turn on the TV and relax. But read the Bible? All those these and thous and begats? Who wants to struggle with that after waiting on customers all day? But then a friend showed me this version written in modern English, and I was surprised.
This guy I play hoops with said I should start reading it, the Bible. Man, I said, I don't need no Bible. I mean, it just ain't cool. So he goes, I read it all the time. And he beat me by 20 points. So he gives me his Bible, I read it. It ain't hoops, but it ain't bad.
What's your excuse? Before you make an excuse to avoid reading the Bible, stop. Take a second look. Pick up the Bible for 5 minutes, and you may pick it up for a lifetime.
Their extension was until June 17th. We got letters from them before June 17th. Well, do you still want to look at the amended claim?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see back on the
Yeah.
And there's only one copy of that.
Yeah.
We're going to leave that here and I mail it to you
I'll make copies and send them.
right now?
Huh?
Or you make copies?
Yeah, I'll make copies.
That
and
is
Make
send
the
amended
copies right in there.
them. All right.
There's a copy machine right in there.
That is the amended complaint by you? Or did I put it away? No, I didn't. I put it away.
I'll see.
That's
Yeah,
just
that
one
was
shoe.
the big wide one. You
Yeah.
put it away.
Okay.
It's good to have a notebook.
I have several of them.
This color, folks, is what you call amaranthine. A-M-A-R-A-T-H-I-N-E. And it means undying and unfading.
Purple to me.
Or, as Kelly says, it
Let me see
means
that.
purplish.
This is your
Amended complaint.
amended complaint.
Oh.
What I find amazing is this amended complaint was sent into to the Public Service Commission. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it reads here on one of them. Law cases and codes, U.S. Code, Title 39, Section 3001. Postal Service, mail matter, non-mailable matter. Well, that's just one. We're getting into transportation, transporting of lottery paraphernalia.
Yeah, I have the proof right in there.
Unlicensing to have a lottery. You need a license to hold a game of chance on the premises, among other things.
And it
All
has
of
to be
this.
prominently displayed.
Yeah. Here's something, New York State Assembly, New York State Consolidated Laws. We go on and on. The laws are here. I didn't make these up, and I didn't write these laws. But this was sent to the Public Service Commission. And isn't it amazing that the Public Service Commission, we would assume, should have read this, and they're a state agency, the law is the law.
Yeah.
We didn't write these laws, and they are not, as a state agency, they're not following the law.
No,
The
that's
law
that's what we
says
put
that
them
they
there for.
cannot hold a lottery unless they have a license, and they are not capable of getting a license.
No,
They're not a non-profit organization.
No.
Everything is profit with the Dolans.
but not with the shareholders.
What is the story on that? Have they paid anything on
Never
it?
paid a dividend. Dolan has never paid a dividend. It's all gone into the...
Okay, I understand why you and some of the public access producers bought shares so you could go to the meeting. But can you explain to me why somebody would go out and spend, let's say, $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 and buy shares of stock in Cablevision if you're not going to get something back?
That's
A
right.
dividend. Why
right.
would somebody do that?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You understand that they are being investigated by the Securities Exchange Commission. They suspect some trading. They suspect trading.
I wasn't
Have you
aware
read
of that.
that?
No.
Okay, I saw that on the internet last night. Cablevision is being investigated by the Securities Exchange Commission. Now, I took a lead in that, and I wrote to the Chief Donaldson of the Securities Exchange Commission, and I said, Charles Dolan, Cablevision, refused to show me, a shareholder, the books, records, and minutes and shareholders list, and he refused to show it to me 107 times. I went to Cablevision to see it. 107 times I was refused, and I'm a shareholder, and that's against the New York State Business Corporation law and the Delaware law of corporations. So I couldn't get through to Donaldson that I wanted an investigation. I said, this is another Enron, I think, and I wanted investigated. And they kept pushing me here, there, and everywhere. Finally, I got a great big envelope, and I addressed it to William Donaldson, Chairman, Securities Exchange Commission, and I told him that these people have to be investigated. Now, do you think that that investigation comes from my letters? Or do you think, because they don't give me any credit.
I don't think they will, but you know, my feeling about the whole thing is it probably did, and as far as credit, if it were me, I could care less, as long as the means justify the end. You know what I find interesting is, as you had gone to a number of the shareholder meetings. Now, correct me on this story. At one of the meetings in the past 12 months, I guess it was, you had gone there, and they, out of all these people and a few public access producers, you were the one that was stopped, and they asked to look in what?
Well, they made me sign a release that I wouldn't record anything, and they made me show photo ID. They don't know me. And they wouldn't let me in until I signed that paper.
Now, did they do this to anybody else?
Yes, they started to after me, but I
Okay.
was the only one, as you said. That was definite discrimination.
Okay.
I was the only one. You want to know what started that? Because the annual meeting before that, Jim Dolan, the son, conducted it. First of all, that's illegal by the bylaws, because by the bylaws, the chairman has to conduct the annual meeting, not the chief executive officer. So, and Jim Dolan really he just looked so bad. And I audio taped it, and I played the whole audio tape on a chat with Glendora. And that did it.
Did they look in anyone else's bag or
No.
No.
I don't know that they looked in my bag. I don't know that I had it. But Peter Wunsch from East Northport was the hero on that, because he made me the something for the minor shareholders, his daughter. He put his name, my name, on her shareholder, on her share, because he's a minor, and that got me in.
Okay,
Here, once
but
was
if you
terrific.
look at this, the way they went about it, considering that they're singling you out,
Yes.
considering that you're a senior person, considering they know how many times they've been sued, wasn't it like putting the head in the lion's mouth?
Yes.
Yeah.
But they don't know any better. They have no other recourse. They've been caught lying and stealing in broad daylight so many times. They do jump into the lion's mouth.
You know, if it were me, I would have said to one of them, you know, working for Cablevision, okay, oh, there's that Glendora person. We have to let her in. Keep an eye on her. Make sure she's not putting her hand inside her jacket and clicking a button or something. You know, but to go and start having you sign and looking in bags and things, that is insane.
Yes, and the whole paper that he had me sign was illegal too. It never stood up in court.
They do look for trouble, don't they?
Oh, they do. they are in so much trouble that they, everywhere they turn, it's more trouble.
Glendora,
Hey, Jim.
with
What's that mean?
in my
Little
amended complaint,
CO glare.
wanted to show you. We got this off the computer. Title III Public Accommodations and Services operated by private entities. And it tells it prohibits of discrimination by public accommodations.
Okay, can we hold on a minute? Your battery's going dead.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay. I just saw it start flashing.
Yeah, can you give me, this is amazing how fast it charges. Can you give me and can we come back and resume this?
Sure.
At this point after this charges? Because
Sure.
it's so good.
Do you have
Okay,
Okay, just-
yes, Kelly, what do you have to show me now?
What I have to show you now is it's my amended complaint.
Wow, that's a big word, Kelly.
It was done, it was documented in federal court on May 6, 2005. And I demanded that I have a jury. Now, my exhibits, I have Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990.
Okay. And your claim?
My claim is I am mentally challenged.
Okay.
And it shows public accommodations because I do not drive. Cablevision states in their rules that I must show a picture ID, a driver's license. I don't have a driver's license. I have a non-driver's ID, but that's not what they want. They want.
They won't take a non-driver's ID? That's issued by the Department of Motor Vehicles, isn't it?
Doesn't
what
matter.
happened? The final thing was that they did indeed take it, but not without harassing her.
Right.
And this happened a number of times. That they're calling back and forth and demanding that they take
They
it.
want a cable bill, electric bill. They want a non-profit tax-exempt form 5013C. I don't have any of that.
No.
And now this is another one. This is postal service laws.
And this is in your amended complaint?
Yes.
Boy, you got it in there.
Now this states.
Have to move it slowly because of the camera.
Okay, this states non-mailable matter,
Uh-huh.
which is saying a matter of deposit in which the mails in this punishable under section 1302, 1341, 42, 1461, 1463, and footnote of Title 18 or Section 26 of the Animal Welfare Act is non-mailable. Basically, what they're saying is the mail that they had sent us, the applications, it's non-mailable.
Really?
Yes. They cannot send it through the mail.
Did they ever address that?
No.
Did they ever defend themselves on that?
No,
they
what
cannot.
they're saying is it's non-mailable because it's a game of chance. And they're mailing out actually gambling paraphernalia
Yeah.
that they had manufactured and are not supposed to be mailing it in the first place.
Yeah, okay.
And indeed, to manufacture the gambling paraphernalia, they need a license.
Yes,
Now, another one that I have,
and they don't have them.
No.
And the Public Service Commission is staring that in the face and running the other way.
now this comes out of the New York Constitutional Articles 1 and 9 Penal Law Section 225. A purpose real Article 1 and 9 of the New York State Constitution provides the pertinent part: no lottery or the sale of lottery tickets, pool sailing, bookmaking, or any other kind of gambling, except otherwise provided herein, shall hereafter be authorized or allowed within the state. The exemptions include state-operated lotteries.
And so what is cable doing as to that?
They haven't defended the lottery. They keep saying they don't have a lottery.
That's a big lie.
No, but they're calling their random process, they're calling it a super cool random number generator.
They switched over from using the word lottery. Now they refrain from using the word lottery.
Oh, yes.
And now they call it a super cool random selection. Well, the law does address the random selection of numbers, and the law is very clear on it. They broke the law. They are not allowed to randomly select numbers to give away a prize.
A consideration,
period.
right.
It doesn't say in the law, well, if you're Cablevision, you could do it. It says nobody can without a license,
Very
period.
good. And you told the public service that.
Yes.
Now this is out of the Code of Federal Regulations, Title 47, Volume 4. Now this is telecommunications, and it states, a lottery conducted by a state acting under authority of state concerning a lottery conducted by a state acting under authority of state law, which is transmitted by a cable system located in that state, by a cable system located in another state which conducts such a lottery, or by a cable system located in another state which is integrated with a cable system described in certain paragraphs. They're saying the lottery is illegal.
I don't think I got that point.
Okay, which one is that?
Title 47,
What is what is it?
telecommunications federal.
Okay, telecommunication. What we're saying is that by using the telephones, by using the telephones to tell people, to advertise their lottery, that they're using telecommunications. This is illegal. A number of us had
Because
called.
they're using a telephone for lottery.
Right. They also use the internet.
Oh, well, I don't think there's any regulation on the internet.
Well, it's still considered telecommunications.
Yeah, you sure?
Yes.
Really?
Um,
I thought the internet was totally unregulated.
No. Many of us had called Cablevision, and their employees would talk to us about the lottery over the telephone. Besides that, they have mailed the lottery applications through the mail, and they've accepted them through the mail.
Yeah, they're using the mail for a lottery.
Yeah.
They're using the internet for a lottery. They're using the telephone for a lottery. And
Right.
this is all a misdemeanor and it amounts to a Class C felony.
Now, besides that, Kelly, I know, has some stuff in her papers there that also refer to the necessity to have a license to carry on a game of chance on your property. You actually need a license for that. And we all know Cablevision doesn't have a license to have a game of chance on Cablevision property.
Yeah.
Now I have another thing. It's Title 18, Crimes and Criminal Procedure, Part 1, Crimes, Chapter 96, Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organization. The Racketeering, Influence, and Corruption Organization, RICO Act, 18 U.S.C., Section 1961 to 68, 1994. Now it says here, racketeering activity means any act or threat involving murder, kidnapping, gambling, arson, robbery, bribery, extortion, dealing of obscene metal, or dealing in a controlled substance or illicit chemicals. And
Yep.
Well, that's perfectly clear. It does say gambling on there.
Who's going to call the Division of Lottery and have them come down and put them in handcuffs and take them to jail?
I think we'll have to pull straws for that, right?
I can't do it because I'm not there. I don't live there.
Now there's several pages here of
What a great complaint you wrote,
now.
Kelly. Boy,
Thank
you
you.
worked hard on that.
Well, my father and I worked. Father helped me with it. Now this is another thing we have. It's New York State Assembly Consolidated Laws. And now there's several different things here. It tells you different things about what the lottery means, what is illegal, the bell jars, the board games, game of chance. A game of chance shall mean and include only the games known as raffles and bell jars and such other specific games as may be authorized by the board, in which prizes are awarded on the basis of a designated winning number or numbers, color or colors, symbol or symbols, determined by chance, but not including games commonly known as bingo or lotto, which are controlled under the Article 14H of this chapter. Now, and also not including bookmaking policy numbers, number games, and lottery as defined in Section 225 of the Penal Law. No game of chance shall involve wagering or money by one player against another player. So basically what they're saying is that the lottery is illegal, and the only one that is legal is by the state, which is lotto or bingo. And game of chance is they're doing a number system. Cablevision had did the number system, and that's how they're doing a game of chance.
Okay.
That's a good point. Did you like the recipes,
I
Kathy?
do. Very nice. Very nice.
Okay.
Okay, what we have here is Title III, Public Accommodations and Services Operated by Private Entities. This falls in line with the not recognizing the non-driver ID and not giving accommodations for it. So they are in violation of that, and they're not addressing it. Okay, Title 39, Postal Services. Fact is that they've been violating Postal Service law, and that's really got to be addressed by the federal court because postal is federal. How are they violating postal law? Because they're mailing interstate lottery or game of chance paraphernalia that they manufactured themselves, which, by the way, they need a license to manufacture gambling paraphernalia. They don't have that either. So actually we've covered, I guess, 3 licenses so far that they were supposed to have. I'm trying to check through here because there's others.
Plus their lawyer doesn't have a license.
Right. They need another license to transport interstate.
Yes.
Now, I had seen a document where they're sending out from New Jersey for this,
Yes, I
this
have that.
illegal lottery. Right.
I have that evidence right in my
So
file.
now we also have interstate. That's a violation of law.
Yeah, isn't that what we're talking about, New Jersey, interstate? Yes, okay.
Here's a ruling, the opinion of the Attorney General, and it's a ruling, and this is from Dennis C. Valco, Attorney General. Reads in here, in any event, this has to do with Good Is Gold Lottery. It's a company that was attempting to start up a lottery, and they were taken into court, and they were found that they were in violation of Penal Law 225.00 in Article 1 and 9 of New York State Constitution, because they're attempting to, or they started up a lottery. So it reads here, this is from Dennis Falco, in any event, there is authority for the proposition that consideration is present when the player purchases goods or entertainment at the regular price and services in addition to the thing purchased. The chance to win a prize, well, that's us. We're attempting to win a valuable prize here. Our time slot, and a prime time slot, is a very valuable prize to us. Is it of any monetary value? Well, it certainly was to that one person that sent in, 1,900 applications at 37 cents each, which amounts to somewhere in the neighborhood of close to $800. Or if he decided that he wanted the slip to prove that he mailed it, then you're talking 60 cents. So we're talking over $800. So is this prime time time slot a prize, a value prize? Absolutely. If this person didn't think that he would not or she would not have spent $800 for this prize.
Yeah.
For example, in People versus Miller, the court found that the element consideration present in a case where the player paid the regular price to see a movie and with that purchase received the chance to win a prize. Okay. Similarly, consideration was found to be present in a case where the player purchased cigars at their regular price and also received the chance to win a prize. So this goes on to say that the three elements are there. The game of chance, or random choosing of numbers, the registration, which could be a box top, and it's actually explained in This Good as Gold. The like filling out a box top, that would be the registration, just like we filled out the papers for Cablevision. And the of course the prize, the valuable prize, which is our time slot. So all of us think it's very valuable. That's why we used to stand in line starting the day before.
Yes.
And the cost to us. Now the cost to us, Cablevision is saying, well, we didn't charge you anything. You did indeed charge us. When it read in the paperwork, you had to mail it in on a certain day. You could not walk, bicycle, roller skate, or anything over to Cablevision to hand in that application. They would not accept it. You had to mail it in at a cost of whatever it cost you. Now, besides that, a number of us through the years have our own equipment. Cablevision would say, well, you could use ours. Well, in a case like myself, I cannot use their equipment. When I go out on a shoot and I'm going to be shooting a festival, I got to go to that festival on a Friday, and I don't get back until a Monday morning from the festival. I cannot keep that equipment that long over the weekend. I'm just not permitted. But let's say that, giving the benefit of the doubt, they could say, well, you could borrow our equipment. Okay, that is true. But as far as a thing like the application, the law specifically says that if the person does something out of their normal day, then they are indeed playing in a game of chance. Well, the fact is, we filled out the application. We went to the post office with it. We drove 7 miles out of the way there and 7 miles back. This is not something that I would have done in the regular course of the day or my life. I'm lucky if I go to the post office once every 3 months. The time spent to do this, the time spent on preparing shows for Cablevision, and the cost of the tapes. Now, surely you need these tapes to put onto to TV.
Definitely.
So all these are costs.
Yeah.
So
They don't furnish those things.
no, they do not.
Can we move over to the
Yes,
shade?
you need.
4, 3, 2, 1. Well, I certainly thank you, Kelly and Kathy and Jim, for driving 160 miles to visit. And I've certainly found it very interesting, the things that you had to say, and I think your legal work is spectacular.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And before we leave, folks, I would like to show you the work that Manhattan Cable, a neighborhood network, the work that they do. Look at this program guide. They do 1,200 shows a week.
Wow.
And Diane says she does 300, is that what she said? So they do 4 times that. And I think that this is a great operation. Can you imagine doing 1,200 public access shows a week?
But they also have 4 or 5 channels, don't they?
They have 4, that's true.
They have 4. Manhattan Neighborhood Network has 4 channels. Where Cablevision only has 1 public access channel.
Yeah. So I guess we have covered it very well.
Yes.
All right.
And all this is pending, and I'm sure it's going to be a long, hard battle, and we will win.
So in the beginning, the fight, we are winning. So goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. Good night.
And it was our pleasure to be with you.
And we thank you for having us.
Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
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 At IBM. It's 90 degrees, honey. Yeah. That's a lot of fur, isn't it, for 90 degrees? You look over here and see the people, can you? So they can see your pretty orange and black and brown and white and tanned face. Can you? Can you? Open your eyes and look at us. Can you? Oh, that's pretty good for a sick kitty. Yes, but kitty getting better. We gotta put hydrogen peroxide in your ears. Clean them all out and take down the fever. Okay, say goodbye to the people. Oh, the 1980 Lincoln runs so well, folks. I got such big news to tell you. Such big news to tell you. I don't know quite how to present it to you. I have to think about it, but this is major news. See if we can find you some jokes.
Money in the bank. Last month, someone asked if I read the Bible. The Bible? I'm successful, I'm happy. What do I need the Bible for? I can get more from the Wall Street Journal. But that made me curious. So I decided to take a second look.
I'm on my feet all day. When I go home, I just want to turn on the TV and relax. But read the Bible? All those these and thous and begats? Who wants to struggle with that after waiting on customers all day? But then a friend showed me this version written in modern English, and I was surprised.
This guy I play hoops with said I should start reading it, the Bible. Man, I said, I don't need no Bible. I mean, it just ain't cool. So he goes, I read it all the time. And he beat me by 20 points. So he gives me his Bible. I read it. It ain't hoops, but it ain't bad.
What's your excuse? Before you make an excuse to avoid reading the Bible, stop. Take a second look. Pick up the Bible for 5 minutes, and you may pick it up for a lifetime.
given us more than we know what to do with, yet we still ask for more. Please accept this offering back to you as a sign that we are thankful for all that you provide us. And may this offering be used to your glory. Amen.
Request for my mother-in-law, Martha,
Yes.
who's had a relapse in swelling of her good leg. And she's starting physical therapy tomorrow. These stents evidently are not doing enough work. And she needs a lot of prayer. She's in pain. Her leg is swollen about 3 times. It's no signs.
Oh, my.
I'm very difficult. I would also like to praise God for the loving and caring Christian brothers and sisters in this church family who are eager and willing to serve God and each other. We really do praise the Lord for that.
Say a lot more. But the loving Christian brothers and sisters in this congregation who serve God and serve one another. And also prayers for Martha, who is having continual difficulties with her leg and pain. Yes, Carol.
On that same line of blessing that God gives us this opportunity to ministry, we see it as that, as a blessing, as an opportunity, not as something to burden. And then beyond that, Libby Little is with her mother, briefly from Kabul. They're on the road to Canada to visit friends. Libby will be here briefly, but thankfulness for the safe trip over and prayers for her return back and for the ongoing unemployment call. For the work, Tom is still in Kabul and for the work there, she's returning and that.
Okay.
Good.
Prayers for Libby Little and prayers for her safe return from Kabul and a safe return back. And also prayers for Tom as he continues his work in Afghanistan. And also prayers that he would see the opportunities to serve as a blessing and not as something else. Yes, Beth.
Will this congregation please pray for my neighbors, Dan and Kelly, happy, whole, and healthy, and all present blessings continue. And for praise, the Stottville Assembly of God Church, who feeds the hungry every Monday night and feeds their souls. And for Vesta, who takes what's left over, up to Jim Gilmore. And to Jim Gilmore and his wife, who say, we can't use it all. Can we give it all to other food pantries?
Thank you, Beth. Prayers for Dan and Kelly.
Yes, please.
And the Assemblies of God Church and all the ministry that they do in feeding the hungry. Down in Stockwell, and prayers for the food pantry in general.
And his wife.
And his wife. Yes, Maureen.
arms around you. Keep love's banner floating o'er you. God be with you till we meet again. Amen. Church was good this morning, wasn't it? Did you like it? It's beginning to rain, so we have to tell you the jokes kind of fast here. Marilyn started on the long, lonesome road to losing weight. But then she found out something terrible. She can't travel on an empty stomach. I looked at my plants at church. I think they're happier. And I gave them a lot of attention and cleaned them all up and talked to them and watered them. And guess what? The mother plant had her second blossom. Great big, brilliant red blossom. Beautiful blossom. Isn't that something? I waited since 1997 for that. I rescued that plant from a field. Some pieces broken off, so we've started new, put them in water and hope that we will have Franklin 4, 5, and 6. What's the wonder diet? You eat everything you want, and the next day you wonder why your clothes don't fit. Nice rain, but it's not too good for a $400 camera up there, so let's go inside. And do you know what the Army diet is? Everything you eat goes to the front. Come $400 camera, let's go inside. $430. Isn't it awful that the state tithe? If you don't tithe to a church, you tithe to the state of New York. They're taking 10%. 10% of everything that you earn. The state of New York is getting. Almost. It's 8.25 or something. Okay, we have to change the lighting. Is this lighting bad? Looks okay on the LCD, but it probably won't on the monitor. Okay, I'll be right back. And then, folks, Marilyn bought a metric scale. A scale that was in the metric system. So now she doesn't know what she weighs. So she's all right. And Ed didn't eat anything but bananas, and he didn't drink anything but coconut. He never lost a pound, but boy, you ought to see him climb trees. And you know about the man who diets religiously? What does that mean? He doesn't eat during church. And Eleanor bought a scale one of these digital scales that talks to you. You step on the scale and it tells you how much you weigh. So she brought it home, she got it all assembled, and she stepped on it, and the voice said, "Please, one at a time." And Beverly is a light eater. As soon as it gets light, she eats. The doctor said he'd have me on my feet in no time at all. And his friend asked him, "Well, did he?" And the man says, "Yeah, he did. The bill was so high I had to sell my car." Doctor said to the patient, "You're coughing much better today." And the patient says, "Why not? I stayed up all night practicing." Linda and Dennis, who are devout Jehovah's Witnesses, brought me back a little pamphlet from their conference at Amherst. Where do you think that was? Amherst, Massachusetts, or Amherst, New York? Amherst, New York is where the State University of New York at Buffalo is. Huge. Huge. I was a physics graduate student there. Okay, isn't that too bad? I'm not going to find you their pamphlet. Maybe I can remember what it said, but it asked, are we ever going to have an end to the suffering? And the answer is, yes we are. And they brought out Bible passages where it was promised to us. But you know about this evil that's in the world? It isn't God's fault. It's people's fault. They won't be one with God. If people would be one with God, there wouldn't be any evil. Now for devotions. As I say, I use Our Daily Bread, and it comes from the radio Bible class. And the passage comes from 1 Corinthians, and this is kind of nice. All ate the same spiritual food. Do you think you get enough spiritual food? And all drank the same spiritual drink. Do you get enough spiritual drink? And another thing I underlined for you is destroyed by the destroyer. Do you think that you are being destroyed by the destroyer? Well, I can help you, okay? I can help you keep that from happening. And this is good. God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able. Do you think that's true? God will not let you be tempted beyond what you are able. Beyond what you are able. But with the temptation will also make the way to escape. Well, that's true in the law. In the law, every law has to have a way to escape. Every law has to have a remedy. In other words, there has to be a way you can get out of that law. I'll give you an example, the Uniform Commercial Code. A horrible thing that you don't understand and that has overtaken the courts and that smothers the Constitution. Anyway, the Uniform Commercial Code has a remedy, and it is Article 1207, and your remedy is you can declare that you are protected by the common law, and that overrides what those horrible things in the Uniform Commercial Code. So that's kind of good. Let me read it to you again. But with the temptation will also make the way of escape, that you may be able to bear it. Now the insight down here is, I underlined supernatural satisfaction. Do you have supernatural satisfaction? The minister's sermon this morning was about the Rolling Stones and a song that they sing, I don't get no satisfaction. Well, their English is bad for one thing. But you don't get satisfaction until you do what I've been telling you about here. Until you reach down inside of you, until you experience and feel and taste and see and touch all that greatness that's inside of you, which is the God inside of you. And be in touch with it all day long with pure thoughts and with counting blessings every 15 minutes. 2 minutes ago we just missed a blessing. Thank you for the rain. You know, that's a wonderful thing. The water comes down, and then it goes up again. Then it comes down again, and then it goes up again. It's a wonderful thing, isn't it? So every 15 minutes, count your blessings. And then I'll read you the little meditation that goes with the Bible passage of today. And the title of it is Orange Peels. Back in 1911, a stuntman named Bobby Leach went over Niagara Falls in a specially designed steel drum and lived to tell about it. Although he suffered minor injuries, he survived because he recognized the tremendous dangers involved in the feat. In the feet? No, F-E-A-T. And he had done everything he could to protect himself from harm. Now, several years ago, later, while walking down a street in New Zealand, Bobby Leach slipped on an orange peel. He fell and badly fractured his leg. He was taken to a hospital where he died of complications from that fall. Isn't that something? He received a greater injury walking down the street than he sustained in going over Niagara Falls. He was not prepared for danger in what he assumed to be a safe situation. That was true of Glenn, what's his name? The astronaut who went into outer space and came back victoriously whole and well, and then he went home and slipped in the bathtub. What's his name? He's from Ohio. Became a senator. Now, this is written by Richard DeHaan, and Richard says some of the great temptations that roar around us, like the rushing waters of Niagara, will leave us unharmed, while a small, seemingly insignificant incident may cause our downfall. Have you had that experience? I've never experienced a downfall, but have I ever been crept upon by an evil? Maybe by Cablevision. Charles Dolan, James Dolan, Mac Budill, Thomas Garga, Diane Bennett, Christine Savarino, Cecilia Masterilli, Charles Former, Robert Callady, Sally Stevens, Burke and Burke. But I don't know, that's the big one that I'm always aware of. Maybe that's not it. We simply become careless and do not recognize the potential danger. We mistakenly